Yo, check this out. My man made it to the league, started sleeping on the couch. We got the legendary icon and 2 unks in the house. When it comes to the freestyles, I don't like to edit it after. According to Ecclesiastes, there's a time to be sad and a time for laughter. So you know me, when I rap, I'm a beast. We got Jeremy Lin in the house, last but not least. All right. 2 unks, though.
2 unks.
2 unks. How
Man.
does it feel? This is your unk era.
This is my unk era. I'm trying to, just lean into it because for a long time, I wanted to not be an unk.
Yeah.
But it's very clear that I am one now.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to lean into it.
Before we were kicking off, the topic came up about, what's your angle, Jeremy? Because, we're setting up cameras for this, right? And I overheard that you don't have an angle.
I don't have an angle.
You've never had an angle?
No, I've never had an angle. They asked me what angle, what side. I said equally fugly.
No.
So I don't have an angle. I never really. Although recently I got a couple cool piercings on this side. So
Okay.
I'm like, all right,
I see.
I'd try to.
You've had piercings for a long time though. I remember. Like as far as ear piercings.
Yeah.
But you added a little.
I had a couple right here, some
Okay.
new ones. But funny story about my piercings.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get my ears pierced. In college, didn't have a lot, so I had a weekly or a monthly allowance. So how I spent my money was very, very important.
Yeah.
I decided to spend, $15, which was a lot for me.
Yeah.
Got my ears pierced. I went home. Auntie Shirley, my mom.
Shout out to Auntie Shirley.
She said, "You better take that out right now." I took it out within an hour. The hole closed up.
This is a lot to unpack, man. We're just starting this episode. I might spend the next hour just talking about that. Because let's start with, how old were you when that happened?
This was when I was like a sophomore in college. I was like 19 or 20, and she had me take them out, and then they closed up, and I didn't get them pierced again until I was 26.
That's a gap right there.
Yeah.
So the first piercing, left or right, do you remember? And single ear.
That was just my left.
Okay.
That was just my left, but when I got them re-pierced, this is after the Lakers season, I got them in both.
Okay.
And then I added 2 more recently. So, anyways.
So the first time that you got it pierced, you went without consent from Auntie Shirley. The point is,
Yes.
That's the point.
Yes.
Do you remember you got it in a mall or at like an earring shop? Like, I'm just picturing Jeremy Lin walking through the mall to one of those little kiosks.
No.
Looking in the glass table like, ooh, I like that one.
We're in Cambridge. And $15 at that time was that was about 5, anywhere from 3 to 5 meals for me.
I feel
because you could get something. You could get a good bit of food for $3, $4, $5 in Cambridge when I was going to college.
Dang, that's a cool story. Did you have a deeper reason for why you wanted to get a piercing, or was it just like vanity? You thought it was cool, or like you saw someone that because I know MJ is kind of like one of your goats. I'm talking about Jordan, of course.
Yeah.
MJ had piercings, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. Here's a hot take. So I always wanted to get my ears pierced, but for some reason, I feel like Asians or yellow skin looks better with darker piercings. So you see my jewelry today is all like it's black because I think it pops more versus
like a diamond stud or a gold or silver.
I feel like looks better on a different skin tone. So
okay.
I've always felt, and again, this is a hot take. This is just me.
Okay.
I've always felt like I look better with the black jewelry versus a silver or gold versus maybe somebody else with a different complexion. They'll look better in silver or gold.
I've known you for quite some years, and I think that was kind of the first semi-vain thing I've ever heard you say. Not even, you said I look better with darker jewelry, right? That actually wants me to go back to a question I was going to ask out the gate. Since we're talking about earrings and looks and aesthetics, from 1 to 10, right? Because we were talking about like, what's my angles? If you had to say 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself? Looks.
This is okay.
Current 2026 Jeremy Lin. Because I know we've
2026.
all had our glow ups, some glow downs. I don't even know if that's a word. But currently, what would you rate yourself?
I mean, I've always kind of been like, I'm in that like, maybe like 4. And this is something that.
A 4?
Yes. This is how I feel.
Where am I if you're a 4, bro?
So I have this conversation with my wife a lot.
Let's go.
I've never felt physically. I don't have that physical. I'm very attractive confidence, and I've never had that my whole life.
Okay.
But I think a lot of that stems to childhood.
Okay.
Obviously, like the cool kids or the attractive or the hot kids in school was never Asian. So I've always felt, at least as an Asian guy, it's like you'll have crushes on different ethnicities, but it's very rare that other people will look at an Asian guy as very desirable. At least that was from my experience. Obviously, if you're good at basketball or whatever, that could change things.
Of course.
But I always kind of attributed that to like, oh, it's because maybe I was, the best basketball player in the school or whatever. So I don't naturally feel like I don't embody that.
You still feel like a 4?
Yeah,
in this day and age,
I actually do.
Oh,
it's even worse too because we're in our phase. So I'm just like,
that's the duck by one.
I'm like, man, I'm already pushing.
Well, speaking of wives, you mentioned wives and their input and thoughts and sharing with our wives, our respective wives. My wife has always said, height is more than half the battle. So I feel like just based off physical stature, you're coming in at a 6 already. Right?
But
then everything else adds on to that. Personality, looks.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you coming in at a strong 6.
Where do you feel?
Aha. Thank you for the alley-oop. I feel like I might be the opposite of you, is that I've always been pretty confident in my looks. So if I even go back to just, let's say, the high school era, like, I thought of myself as like a 7. Yeah. So it's funny to look back on our childhood and analyze that.
Yeah.
And you talk about like the crushes on girls and things like that. Every time I would have a crush on a girl and it wouldn't work out, I would always feel like it was their loss.
Okay.
Right? Like, so it wasn't like a shortcoming on my end. I was just like, you don't know what's going on over here.
It's interesting because my whole like elementary, middle school, high school, and so on, the person I had the biggest crush on never liked me back. So I think that was
back to the height thing. And I've been this height since the 10th grade. So imagine if I had another inch or 2 on me. But she always, speaking of our wives again, she always says, I guess, like personality and humor and all these other things go a long way too, right?
Yeah.
So if you aren't necessarily equipped in the height department, I think that's where my personality. You say you picked up basketball.
Yeah.
That might also be why I picked up the mic and picked up rapping, because you just gotta. We all are trying to compensate in some way, right? Nobody really wants to play ball. Nobody really wants to rap, to be the best rapper. We just want to impress girls. Let's just get that. Back to the crush topic. Do you remember the first girl you had a crush on?
Yeah, I remember. I was.
What grade is this?
This was.
I remember mine too,
Okay, this was 6th grade. It sat across from me in school, and then we were like always kind of talk during class, and we were like friends. And I remember just one day I was just like, this is so funny. One day I just told her, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I like you, and that's it. And then I was like, I'm not asking to be, because I knew Auntie Shirley wasn't having any of that or anything. I just told her, I just want to let you know I like you, and I think you're cute. And then that was it. And then she's like, oh, okay, thank you. And that was it. And
can we drop a first name? If not, can we drop a first name? Do you remember her first name?
I actually don't know. I think it was Lisa. But I don't remember. I actually don't remember now. But I remember that moment very vividly. I was like, I just want to let you know I think you're cute. I like you. But, it would never there was never the chance it would turn into anything because I was like, my mom would never let me. And also, I wasn't sure if she liked me back. And then I told her, and she never said she liked me back. Or she was just like, thank you, very nice. And then we stayed friends.
Okay. Imagine if you had an earring at that point. That might have been the thing. Lisa might have been like...
If I had a black earring.
Yeah, in the 6th grade, Lisa would have been... Okay.
No, I'm going to have to hear about your experience now.
Mine was 1 letter away from yours. Mine was Megan.
Okay.
Yeah, the Lisas and Megans of our childhood. No, I've shared it before. Wrote a letter to her. Teacher found it. Read it out to the class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah. That. So let's circle back to this, kind of what this is. Last but not least. What I wanted to do was to just kind of talk about life, our careers, love, as we've been talking, but then kind of like look at it through the lens of laughter. I asked you about your looks. Let's talk about your humor. 1 to 10, how funny do you think you are?
So this is a reverse. This is where
now you're like a 12.
Yeah. This is where I thought I was really funny, and we've done a thing where we've asked our family
Yeah.
our family were like, all right, 1 to 10, how funny do you think so and so is?
Yeah.
And I thought I was like an 8.
Yeah.
And I thought I was like quite funny. But then the people around me, especially like my older brother, my sister-in-law, my wife, they were like, yeah, you're not as funny as maybe you think you are. So they gave me a lower rating. And I was like, oh, okay. 'Cause I always thought it was funny. And then my older brother's like, you're like just volume. Like you're a volume shooter. Like you try to make a bunch of jokes, but
And see what lands.
they're not that funny. And it's just like, yeah, eventually you say enough jokes, one of or two of them will be funny. I was like, oh, dang. And then my wife was like, at first she rated me 1 to 10.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, I think you're like a 5 or 6. I was like, what? And I eventually like pulled her up to a 7, but
Yeah.
it's just because of the pressure and making her feel bad. But I know like in her heart, she's probably like, yeah, you're like a 5 or a 6. But I thought I was like an 8.
Do you think she's funny? Would
I
you
think
say
she's
your
really
wife
funny.
is a funny
I
person?
think she's really funny. I
Yeah?
think she's the funniest out of everybody in terms of making fun of me and roasting me. I don't think I've
Yo,
met somebody
yo, same here.
who's done it better.
Maybe there's just logic in your other half, your better half. In theory, they should be able to roast you better than everybody in the world because they know the.
She gets yeah. Even she has my like I got fouled face on the court where I got fouled and I'm mad at the ref. She has that down to a T, and she gets me.
So back to just the humor of it all. Like, so you always thought you were funny. You feel like you're funny, but then
Yeah.
like your loved ones kind of grounded you and said, hey, you might not be as funny as you think.
Exactly.
Who's someone, I mean, you just mentioned your wife. Who's someone that growing up you always thought was funny? It could be a celebrity or a family member or someone that you just always found funny. Does that person exist?
I mean, definitely there's certain people in my life, but nobody would know who they are. But there's
That's the person I want to know about.
So I have my brother's best friend growing up.
Yeah.
Roger Chang.
Let's go.
Basically, like every Sunday morning, there's like a group that gets to church an hour and a half early to kind of like have like a little bit of discipleship and prayer. But basically, he would come over early before my parents would wake up every Sunday morning, and he would open the front door and scream, like yell, like "Yeehaw!" and it would wake my mom up, and he thought it was so funny. But my mom would actually get woken up by this and actually get pissed off. Yeah. But the more pissed she would get, the funnier he would think it is. And so he would continue to do it just completely. And this is just so anti like Asian culture to like wake up your friend's mom. And so he would do things like that were just like borderline, like not borderline. They were definitely annoying, but funny annoying. And he would like always like push the threshold of that. And I thought that was actually hilarious, which is very on brand for me because I always kind of like get in trouble because I push it a little bit too far.
Yeah. Roger Chang, you said.
Yeah, but there's another person who, when I was a rookie with Golden State.
Oh, this is early then.
Yeah, they had brought out some comedians. And at that time, they brought out a comedian who was not nearly as well known as he is now.
That would be?
Kevin Hart. And so
they
brought out Kevin Hart to a season ticket holder event. And at that time, Kevin Hart hadn't blown up the way he has now. So he was, that was something where he came to and emceed the Golden State Warriors season ticket holder, event.
Do you have a recollection of that performance?
Yes. So he comes in and, again, we don't, some of the players know about him, but most of the players don't.
Yeah. And
so his whole thing is he introduces each player and he roasts each player. And then he got to me, and so he's being nice, and I'm like an undrafted rookie. He's being nice. And I don't know why. This was not scripted.
Yeah.
But I just like, he was making fun of me, and then I was like, I stood up, and each player would have a chance to respond.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. And I get on the mic, and I make fun of his height in front of everybody, and the whole room's like, oh. And he looks at me like shocked that I made fun of his height.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't come at me. And I was
that might have been the first time in the history an Asian dude making fun of a black dude's height.
So I stopped in my tracks because I was like, I can't believe I just made fun of his height in front of everybody. And I was like, this could get bad. And so I start immediately sweating, like nervous sweat. Yeah. And he lets it slide. Many years later, he's the Kevin Hart who we know to be now. And I'm like, Kevin Hart, I sincerely apologize, and I'm so thankful that you let me off the hook because you could have came back
This
at
is a
me and
wild
just
story.
crushed me in front of everybody.
I think based off everything you just described, it's a very specific moment. You're saying that it's like mutual roasting, right? Like he is kind of throwing jabs at all the other players. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, he's
And
just yeah.
and the players are kind of like poking back at him. It just so happened that when he got to you, you saying that he did take a jab at you or he didn't?
He did, but it was a very nice jab. Like I thought he was gonna really go off because I'm
Ah,
thinking like, all right, I'm Harvard, I'm Asian.
he
He's
didn't do
gonna.
none of that.
I mean, I don't even remember what he did because I was already so nervous in the moment because even for me at that time being undrafted rookie, I wasn't used to anything, and
Yeah.
so for me to even have the spotlight on me or for me to get introduced was already
Yeah.
very nerve wracking.
So all you remember is you belittling his height.
I belittled his height, and I don't know where it came from, but it just it just came out. And then I was like, Jeremy, what did you just do? You just set yourself up for failure, and then
This is a lot for me to process. I've never heard you tell this story.
I've never told
This
this
was
story
always
before.
like this must have been tucked deep in the Jeremy Lin files.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm a Kevin Hart fan, and as someone that actually also has been in both sides, roasting someone and been roasted, I think in that circumstance, you didn't go that. You didn't go. I can't imagine you going that like malicious with whatever you said. Although we
Definitely
don't
not
have
malicious.
the files.
Not malicious.
Right. So, and I think that's just the nature of roasting. And you saying like him letting you off the hook. It might not be that he let you off the hook. He might be saving it for. He's just waiting to run into
No,
you
I
again.
think he let me off the hook because I think when they're prepping for him, he's like, who?
Who?
Jeremy Lin. Okay, anyways, I need to get to Monte Ellis, David Lee, Steph Curry.
Yo, that's quite a that's a gem right there. I want to go back a bit actually to the Unk thing, which is what we kicked off with. So, what is besides the idea of it being uncool of our age? What do you think about where you are now in terms of this retirement era as it pertains to like this Unk? Because I noticed like even on social media, you are a little more. Not that you were always anti-fun, but you are more having fun now than before. Clearly. And how does that all tie together?
That's a great question. When it comes to the laughter, humor side of things,
Yes.
it's interesting because I went through a phase where, especially early in my career, where it was like YouTube videos, funny skits,
Yes.
me dunking on my mom,
Yes.
and those types of things.
Dance challenges, Mandarin challenges,
Yeah,
all
so-
type of stuff.
So there is an extremely goofy side of me
Yeah.
that people see that only gets brought out with very, very specific people, less than 10 in the world that can bring that side out of me.
Mm.
But earlier we were okay showing that side, and it takes work to show that side.
Yeah.
And I think what ended up happening was I think the world thought that that's who I was with everybody, but the reality is I'm only that goofy and that comfortable with very select few people. And so I think people actually thought I was like this constant extroverted goofy guy, but I'm not. And so when they would meet me, they're like, oh, you're very different. And that's actually very true for like a Ryan Higa or even like a Linda Dong, where it's like you meet them and they're like much more reserved than maybe
What
their
they show
on-camera
on their
personality.
yeah.
And so that was me, and it was work to get that side out. Even for me, it was like I don't know if you remember, I went through this random freestyle rapping
Yes.
thing, and I was rapping in English, rapping in Chinese, and people were like, "Yeah, just come drop it. I'm gonna drop a beat, and you can do a freestyle." And I'm like, "No, that's not who. Like, I'm not comfortable with that." And so I realized like the outside was seeing me a certain way, and I was like, I think the toll that it was taking on me to release this to be able to show this side of me was a little bit too much. So I actually scaled back and I stopped doing that. And now I'm kind of trying to pick my battles or re-show that in different places or in smaller pieces.
You having fun?
I am. I mean,
looks
that's
like
the thing, right? Like I went all in where I was like, I want to show this side, and then, but it became work.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went in the other direction where it's like, I don't need to show this stuff anymore. Like it's too much. People think that they expect that from me all the time, and when I'm not comfortable, and so I kind of stopped showing that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm kind of back in a little bit of middle where it's like, hey, like my boy, like Jay Chow had a new album, and he was like, go have fun with it, go try to rap that. All right, I'll have fun with that.
Or sing a part of Van's song or something like that.
Like I'll go do fun, goofy stuff, but I don't want it to be 24/7.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just finding balance. And it sounds like doing it at your own comfort.
Yeah.
And just not necessarily feeling like it's work, but then also letting free because you are in this very specific era, this retirement era. Would you call it that?
Yeah, I'm in
Unk
my
era,
retirement era. I don't
era?
know if you saw this. I was telling Patricia yesterday in the airport. I
Yeah.
showed her this video of Bryce James graduating,
Yeah.
and then LeBron in the background. And this is a formal graduation ceremony. As Bryce is walking off, he goes or something like that, and the whole like. And everybody knows it's LeBron, and it's so embarrassing. And Bryce is just like, "Oh my goodness, I'm my dad." But everyone starts dying laughing. Like I feel like that's who I am naturally. Where I saw that video, I was like, "That's totally something I would do, or I want to do."
So let's talk to dad talk. Is that the type of dad you aspire to be? Right?
Like, yeah. Like I don't want to. Like I probably won't be friends with everybody, or won't be the most social. But I would definitely don't mind embarrassing my kid and having fun and being really goofy like that. Like I do want to be. I think naturally I am like a very goofy person. Yeah. So I want to have fun, but then it's like, you want to be respected when you want to put your foot down, or when you want to be, be serious and have leadership. You want to be able to be that. Yeah. But then also I definitely want to have the goofy side.
So shout out to the next generation, right? When you were talking about Bryce, you said, and LeBron and all that, right? Definitely makes me think of the dad that I am now. Shout out to Chance. And this is maybe like not a known fact. You're actually Chance's godfather, right?
Yes.
And that's something that, man, I told you before, but always want to say, man, just what an honor that is to know that, he has someone that, when me and Carol first brought it up to you, just, if nothing else, wanting to know that Chance has someone as he gets older and grows up can kind of look to for all the different things that we look at you and see that you embody, right? Just someone that can guide him, whether it's from a spiritual standpoint, just someone with their head on their shoulders. But overall, man, we were just like, man, what a blessing that would be. Mm. And you were like totally on board with it. And even since then, as Chance has continued to grow, I just want to say, man, it's beautiful for me to see how intentional you've been too, right? As far as just like, I definitely want to pour into him, as he continues to get older in different ways. So thank you for that. And funny, we were just recently at like a recital thing of his, like a school thing. And I am definitely that dad that you're aspiring to be. I'm definitely just waiting for him to come out. As soon as I see him coming out from the back, I'm like, yo, CJ. And the more he doesn't want to acknowledge me, the more I gotta turn it up, right? Then I'm like, oh, you don't want to look up? Then I gotta like stand up. Hey, we over here, right? I've been like that since his kindergarten graduation. So it's fun. Like, I mean, recently when we do the morning drop-offs at school, I'm even like looking at that as like such a precious moment. Yeah. It's such a small thing. He jumps out the car, I give him £1, and we'll have like maybe at max 2 to 3 minutes, the car ride. Mm. But that conversation between me and him, this is after the little bro has already, jumped off into first grade, right? Yeah. I dropped him off already. That's a whole nother adventure too. Yeah. But then the 2-3 minutes that I have with Chance, it's so phenomenal to me, the things that we might end up talking about. It could be something super silly and random. He's like, hey, I just watched this highlight video of Uncle Jeremy yesterday. Did you know that he wants, like so something like that. And it's fascinating too, because I think for many, many years as a kid, he knew you as Uncle Jeremy, but I don't think he knew the Jeremy Lin lore. Yeah. That's only as recent as this past year or two. I see. So I look at him and you can tell that he's connecting the dots, right? And because I remember when he was like 5 or 6, he said something like, who's more famous, you or Uncle Jeremy? And then I didn't even have to answer. Carol was like, definitely Uncle Jeremy. I was like, sheesh.
It depends what circles. It depends what circle. But no, I think, so the point, when I think about what you're talking about with why do I want to do that and be that, I think I realized, like, I just want to be unapologetic as a dad. Meaning, like, if I'm really proud of my kid, I want to be able to show that in whatever way and not feel like I need to fit a mold or do it like everybody else is doing it. I am the type where it's like, I want to have a handshake with my kid, or it's son or daughter, it doesn't matter. I want to have a handshake. I want to have an inside joke. I like doing that, and I want to be loud, and I want to cheer and do those things and be unapologetic about that. And I think that was my mom, and I appreciated that, even though it was kind of embarrassing. And I I tell my mom, I was telling her growing up, she would always be so loud at the basketball games, and she would be saying the wrong things, and it would be embarrassing because we'd be on offense. She'd be like, come on, defense, let's go. And I'm like, Mom, we're on offense. So I tell her, like, you always just say, whenever you don't know what to say, you just yell like, defense. And I'm like, we're on offense. Stop doing that. But she was just like, couldn't control her support and her excitement for her kid.
Love and excitement.
And that's all she knew was like, defense, boom, boom, defense. And so, but I want to be able to do that and be that, and you're doing that too. And so I just want to rock with my kids and support them.
That's really all it is, man. So speaking of staying in the parent mode, so as he's getting older, do you see more of yourself in him? Do you see more of your wife in him? Like, what's his personality like?
His personality, well, he definitely has the active, energetic side of me.
Okay.
I remember it was it's a pretty funny story. There is one. So my dog is male.
Yeah.
And obviously me and my son. And so my dog had just pooed in the wrong place in the master bedroom. My son had just had a blowout and pooed all over his diaper. And then I was also on the toilet at the time. And my wife...
3 at the same time?
And my wife... It's all within 15, 30 minutes. And my wife, who has a very sensitive nose, was just like... She actually had like a mini meltdown. She's like, I swear, if our second kid is not a daughter... Not that we're, expecting or anything.
Yeah.
But she's like, if our second kid is not a daughter, I'm going to go crazy. You all smell so nasty. And then she was just talking about all the smells that she could smell between And so anyways... my son is definitely very energetic, total guy. Like he thinks having fun is jumping on top of your face and stomach and tackling you and running into you and falling all over and running, just like constant energy, always jumping, always falling over, always throwing things. Has to just be extra active, and I love that. And so he definitely has that side of me.
I mean, it's early, but do you see some like athletic type vibes in him? Like, do you see like some sports energy in him?
Yeah, I mean, when he was 1.5, people thought that he was 3, just from how he was moving.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that pressure on him that he has to be the whatever mold or who I see him becoming. In fact, even when I think about him, I'm trying to actively not have a path or a vision. It's just like I just want to let him be who he's going to end up being.
I mean, I definitely want to pick your brain about this. I don't think we
pick my brain. Not
about the parenting, but about the topic of, I guess, being a public figure. Because I think we've had a lot of conversations even before he was born, and you and your wife and you guys were stepping into that direction. And I remember you would be like, "Yo, what's your thoughts on this, Jin?" And we talk, right? All the way up until his arrival. And even in the recent times, I don't think we've ever unpacked the topic of publicizing them or keeping them more low key. Them as in our children. So I want to ask, like, I mean, right now, like the world knows that you're a father, but for the most part, you guys are still pretty like low key with the presentation of him. So is that something you and your wife had like real long talks about, or?
Yes, we definitely had long talks. First off, thank you. Got to give you a shout out, because all the dating, marriage, parenting, fame, celebrity, faith, I've run all these topics by you, picked your brain.
It's crazy that you survived.
Yeah.
If I'm the guy you ran it all by, you know what it is. We mutually.
I've had so much wisdom. I've learned so much from you. And
it was mutual, bro. It was mutual. So, as much as you ran stuff by me, I picked your brain about a lot of things.
After your solo show that you had, 古灵精怪, we went to go eat.
Yeah.
And this was when you brought out a Godfather T-shirt.
I remember that meal too.
You had told Chance that I'm his godfather.
Correct.
And I don't know if you remember, but right after the show, in the car, you and Carol were kind of talking to him, and he was voicing his opinion around like being hidden. And you and Carol had said to him, like, we haven't talked about your identity, or we don't,
it's not out there.
It's not out there because we wanted to give you the chance for you to make your own decision. Meaning,
Yeah.
if we publicize you and you want to be private,
It's no going back.
there's no going back.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm telling you, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Mm.
And they're like, well, and you two were like, well, we want to give you that option.
Yeah.
And I really respected that. And I love that, where you can't go back from revealing things to the world.
Yeah.
But if you preserve it, you can make the conscious decision to, okay, I will reveal my identity in whatever ways I want to.
Yeah.
That was something that me and you never had the choice to do.
Yeah.
We did what we did, and overnight we gave to the world something that we can never get back.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of my philosophy, which also stems from definitely learning from Patricia, who's very big on, she was always the most intentional around, like, how do we protect the identities and keep sacred the parts of your life that you don't want to give to the world or give to the world yet. That is definitely one of those where, I want to have that exact same conversation that you and Carol had with Chance in the car and in the restaurant, which is, do you even want this out there, and giving them the chance to choose. I think that was so well done. And that's something that's like, it's so simple, right? Like I talk about that. Oh, you guys preserved his privacy, but that takes so much effort. It like the amount of effort that it requires for us to keep the people close to us as close to anonymous as possible. It requires daily, multiple times a day effort to keep their anonymity and give them the choice down the road. Yeah. So learn that from you all too.
It's harder and harder too in this day and age, just because it seems like it is the norm to have our lives in sync with the internet and social media. And that's even if you're not a public figure, I guess. Right? Like more so if you're not a public figure. I think pertaining to our kids, yes, me and Carol have always been on the same page about it. And it's funny because between Chance and Justice, right? One is 14, one is 7 now. They have very kind of ideas about it too, right? I think Chance is more like, hey, I can't be hidden forever. But then sometimes he's like, I don't want to be seen. So it is like he's more conscious now about the dynamic of it, the nuances of it, right? Like, because sometimes it's not even that we want to blast a photo of him on social media, but even just to take a photo for our own keepsake, he might be like, nah, mommy, nah, right? So we got to respect that. Now, for the younger kid, for Justice, literally just last night, he said, I want to start a YouTube channel. And he's like, I want to be the next Ryan. Ryan makes good videos. I can make them too, right? And I'm like, bro, if you could pull in 36 million, I'll start the channel for you. But then Chance, this is at the dinner table, and Chance like, Justice, do you know how hard it is to actually do it? And so, but the point is, for kids, I think there is this idea, especially our kids' generations, right? As they get older, I think they'll have an idea of what they think it is. But even to, not specific to Ryan or any one of these young public figures making channels and videos, to what you just said a moment ago, you can't take it back, right? So it's give and take. I'm sure they are enjoying the fruits of their labor in a great way. But yes, at some point when he becomes a 20-something-year-old, a 30-something-year-old, it is the equivalent of what we would call back in the days like a child star, right? Everything that you've done from childhood onward is out there. Someone can go on YouTube and watch you and your little sisters at an all-inclusive resort in 2004, coming out of your bathroom with your bathing suit on, jumping into the pool. To each his own, right? But I think just for myself, we're like, that's not something we want to do. And sometimes it's real realistic, right? It's like if you get a gig, like we did a whole reality show, I've chatted about this, with Chance, but God had other plans. We did the show, had the whole experience, and we kind of went from 0 to 100, right? We kept him anonymous for the most part. But then we're like, hey, if we're going to go, we're going to go big or go home, right? So we did a whole reality show, filmed it, wrapped it, but ultimately the show didn't come out. And this is like a good 6-7 years ago. So this is when Chance was like 6-7. And now I'm almost like, man, not that I would have been thirsty for the show to come out, but it'd be cool to watch it at least, right? So who knows? Maybe like at some point down the line, in his 20s or 30s, we might somehow get a hold of this footage and be able to watch this summer that I spent with him in China, which would be pretty epic. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had an unk moment where you're like, and he was like 6'7", and I just thought about my nephew being like 6'7", 4'1", and I was just like,
You know about this one? I don't even
the
know if I'm doing it
scuba,
right.
Yeah, I learned the scuba 2 weeks ago.
What's the science on that? You got a scuba? Is this from a song or something?
Oh,
Or like
I have no idea.
you
They
just did it?
told me to. They told me.
I saw the video of you
I
doing
actually
it.
didn't even know it was called a scuba. They were just like, "Hey, I need you to go like this," and so I did it, and it looked like a
dolphin tail or something.
I mean, I thought it was like.
You stink?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was like almost like a stanky leg, like you stink, like, or I don't know. And then I saw the caption that they posted later. It was like, "Oh, Jeremy the Unk learning how to scuba or something." I was like, I didn't even know I was scubaing.
But I think that is our textbook unk status.
Yeah,
when we do get coaxed or
Yeah.
we do these things without any knowledge of
Yeah,
what it is,
for
right?
sure.
That's textbook unk status, and I'm cool with it. You're
Yeah.
cool with it too,
I'm cool
right?
with it too, and I'm like, why do I need to? I don't need to know. I'll know when I need to know if I ever need to know, and I guess now I know.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think unks should still wear ripped jeans? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yes. I like.
You're
I
okay
like
with
them.
it?
I'm cool with
Let's
it.
go.
Yeah. Ripped jeans. Ripped hats. I'm still in that. I'm still in that phase where it's like, I'm down. That thing about it is you keep anything long enough, it'll come back around.
True.
Fashion trends are just cyclical.
I had a super unk moment this morning, prepping to get out the house and come here and link up with you for this. I knew it was a special occasion, and I was like, let me prep all the way, more than I usually do. I trimmed my nose hairs this morning.
Oh, okay.
Have you gotten into that stage of life yet? You're not really here yet, Dad.
I haven't trimmed the nose hair ever. I mean, I don't.
You'll get there.
Hopefully, yeah.
You'll get there. Especially, you've never seen the old Asian dudes with mad long nose hairs and coming out the ears?
I've seen that.
I haven't had the ones coming out the ears yet.
I haven't had that ear hair yet either.
That's next level.
I did find a couple white hairs, and I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, snap. I hope that doesn't come too quick."
Yeah.
But I found a couple white hairs.
This just popped into my head. How do you feel in this day and age when people are still eager and enthusiastic and want to talk to you about Linsanity specifically? What's your gut reaction when that happens?
My gut reaction, it depends what state. If I'm in a rush, obviously that's
Texas.
one thing. But let's just say I'm yeah.
Like,
Let's just say I'm just like in a normal state.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I try to tell myself is slow down and process it.
Okay.
Because I think so much of me is wired to be like, all right, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. You're an inspiration. Okay, thank you. But as I've been getting older, I'm like, no, hold on, slow down. This was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Listen to what he's saying or her. Look at their body language, and when they tell you it really changed their life or it really inspired them, they really mean that. Like the way that, and I'm not even joking, like the way Naruto inspires me. Like Naruto inspires me to keep, to hold on to the good and to see the good of people and of humanity, and the way that it's impacted me in some ways has been trajectory changing, and that's what people are saying to me.
Yeah.
Like I help change the trajectory of how they think about things or their life, or that they were willing to go for something or to shoot their shot or to and so when I try to embody and listen to the body language and the depth of what they're trying to share in one sentence or two sentences, I try to allow it to hit me in a deeper way. So I don't try to cringe or get out of it or scoot past it like I used to.
In those small pockets where I see it in a comment section or someone messaging me or anything that's hip hop and basketball related, whenever it comes up, I'm not going to say it happens all the time, but it's happened enough times to make a mark in my mind. When people are like, yo, you like the rap game Jeremy Lin, right? To me. And the parallels, we've explored this too over the years, kind of maybe being in a space that Asians are not conventionally known to be in.
Yeah.
And then maybe making our respective marks in it, right? And then even, I'm about to start photo capping every time I see this comment and taping it on my wall. When people reference the BET battles and they're like, yo, this is Linsanity for you, or this is the equivalent of Linsanity in rap form, right? And the reason I say that specifically is because of everything you just said is where I find myself these days too, right? Where when people bring it up to me, whether it's in real life or I see it in a comment section or a DM, I'm just as intentional, like you said, about slow down, Jen. Don't breeze through this where you can easily just be like, yo, thanks. Or even if it's in someone in person, you shake their hand like, thanks. But if they're saying to you, yo, do you know how like reality shifting this was for me when it happened, when I watched it and whatnot? It is easy to overlook that, right? Now, I want to clarify, right? Before I get dragged for this, obviously the scale is different, right? It's two different things. I mean, in terms of what you did in your field and your run. But I gotta put it out there that, yo, what you're saying, the sentiment of it, I think it's why, yo, like when I watch your journey, I'm invested in my own unique way, you know?
Oh, I mean, there's so many parallels. It was different situation, different journey, but equally groundbreaking. So there's many parallels. I still remember we were in Shanghai. I had just gotten out of a 3-month quarantine because of everything that happened in COVID. You were one of the first people I met up with, and a fan came up to you and was telling you how much you meant to them. And you did something that I still remember it's like a core memory that I remember, where I thought to myself, it hit me like, hey, you can learn from how Jin is handling this, which is you stop, you ask them for their name, which I try to do now sometimes. I'm like, what's your name? Because you stopped, you asked them for the name, you looked them in the eye, you had a conversation, they're telling you certain things, and you ask follow-up questions. And I could tell that the person went from appreciation of you as a public figure to appreciation of you as a person, as a human, that you really touched them human to human. And then even then, they kept trying to follow you, have more conversation. But at that time, it was kind of time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And you did that very gracefully. So I just saw how you did all of that. And I was just like, that's who I want to evolve. That's how I want to evolve, and how I want to eventually get to where when I talk to people about certain things, or when people come up to me, I want to be able to impact them in that way, or have that type of human to human interaction.
Man,
so I learned that from you, man. No, I mean,
I'm just saying your impact, like,
but
man,
I think
like,
impact is like different, right? Like there's an impact where you're great on the court and you shatter barriers, but you're able to also individually, one-on-one, do something special. So that's something that I really, learned from.
Wish you did that when Kevin Hart roasted you at that.
Exactly.
You should show them a little grace.
Exactly. No, I do.
Okay.
Let me ask a question though, because you're saying laugh but not least.
Yeah.
And
I love when the guests ask me questions, by the way. I should just start emphasizing more to people that I talk to. But go ahead. Yeah.
Laugh but not least. So obviously this concept of laughter, humor, comedy.
Yeah.
Why stand up? What is it about stand up that makes you drawn towards it? Because I know you already dropped a comedy special, which is a new space for you.
Yeah.
Well, semi-new. I mean, you've been dabbling, but now I think this is a different level of investment.
You're right.
What is it about comedy, making people laugh, laughter in general? Like, what is it that's gravitating towards you, or how do you feel called to that area?
Man, I do think that it's something that I can boldly say now. It's similar to when I first had the vision to want to be a rapper. And it's not something I would just casually or haphazardly say, because I know how much I appreciate and respect the stand-up craft and what it is, right? To people that really are invested in that art and in that community. But to say it in a more precise way, it's just breathing life into me. And not that I feel like I don't have life in me. I got my wife, I got my kids. I still have a career for what that's worth, right? So, and I only say that because I've seen some pretty dark times, right? I've seen times where I was ready to be like, yo, this might be it. The rap thing's not working out. I'm ready to walk on over to Home Depot. Shout out to, because I'd always think of that, because literally I was thinking of these places where I might have to explore getting a conventional 9-to-5. Shout out to people that work those 9-to-5s. I mean, they're the heroes, right? Those day-to-day jobs that they might not necessarily love doing, but they do what they have to do. And there was a point where I felt that. But even through that time, I was able to kind of navigate out of it. And the music still carried me. The acting still carried me. But there was one point where I was a little like, man, what's going on with all of this? I don't feel as I once did until I explored the comedy thing. And it was very organic, just through an open mic. And like you said, I kind of been dabbling in it like for many, many years now. But I think the recent years, is when I started to have conversations with just peers and people. And I always want to shout him out. Ronnie Chang, right? You know Ronnie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The simplest thing he said to me was like, Jin, I think you might be the one in your own way for the most part. Like you're in your own head about it, right? Because I was sharing with him what the journey was looking like. And the biggest thing was I had this kind of like burden on my shoulder because I have my rap history. I felt like there was a chip on my shoulder. Like I got to go extra hard to prove that I deserve to say I do stand up. And truth be told, there's a lot of times where that's not the case with some people.
Yeah.
They might go to 2 mics and they're already like, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian now, right? And to each his own.
Yeah.
But I had so much reverence for this thing that even though I was putting in the work, and to some people, they're already like, you are doing stand-up.
Yeah.
I would be the one that'd be like, nah, I haven't put in my 10,000 hours yet and stuff like that. And Ronnie's simple sentiment to me was just like, yo, like, it's good that you want to get better. It's good that you want to hone the craft. These were his exact words. But don't end up over glorifying the grind. Because he said, I've seen some people do that. When you over glorify the grind, like you just aren't allowing yourself to grow when you clearly can already and you could and should. Man, and that helped me so much.
That's awesome.
And he was just like, this thing that you've been looking as kind of like a baggage, it could be your superpower, right? And so just what he meant by that was just me thinking that my rap history was a hindrance. He was like, yo, like, that's your superpower. Lean into it. Yeah, figure it out and do the work. And that's what I've been doing since that conversation.
That's awesome, man.
So
shout out Ronnie.
Shout out to Ronnie. And I mean, ultimately, I think another reason I draw a parallel to the rap thing is because, yo, when I see a comment that says, yo, Jin, you're not funny. That's no different than when I picked up a mic at 16 and people saying, ain't nobody trying to hear you rap, whether it's my close circle or strangers.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, why did I keep pursuing it to where I can sit here and say, yo, I've been rapping for 25 years now and have been doing okay with it, right? Is because that passion that lied inside me. So even right now, like, I'll be honest, I'm human. When I post up a clip and I see that one, it'll be like 50 comments that are like fire emojis, laughter emojis. But the one guy that's like, stick to rapping. This ain't it for you. I'll still feel a initial sting, right? But then I'm like, wait a minute. This is how you felt when you first started rapping. Imagine if that one guy that said, yo, ain't nobody trying to hear Chinese do rap, or it doesn't even have to be race. It just, because that comment that said, you're not funny, it was from like an Asian guy. And, you know, and why do I know this? Because I looked at his profile and I was like, bro, you're not doing anything with your life, so don't tell me what to do with mine. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you feel that. You'll definitely feel that.
Yeah.
So, no, I appreciate it. That's very real.
Still pursuing it. Just a journey. I think the question now, a great way to kind of like get into the landing of it is, if you were to look back, career-wise, life-wise, would there be like one standout incident or season of life where you look back and you're like, man, it was pretty challenging during that time, but you can look back on it and laugh about it now?
The biggest what if of my career is, what if I didn't get hurt in Brooklyn? After I retired, I had a text conversation with Kenny Atkinson, now the head coach of the Cavs, but he was the head coach of Brooklyn. And he texted me, and he even said the same thing. I didn't even bring it up. He said, for him, one of the biggest what ifs of his career is, what if I never got hurt there? And he texted me and told me, there's no doubt in my mind that you would have been an all-star that year. If I had not gotten hurt. The year before, I was crushing it too, but I had some injuries, and so I was on minute restriction. But anyways, that's the biggest what if, and that was, you know, I always talk about that as that was kind of like the low of my career.
Yeah.
How I look back now is, it doesn't eat at me. I'm just like, it's cool. And during that moment, I remember Michael Chang, the tennis player, also reached out to me, and he said, you know, I was always wanted to be number one in the world, ranked number one in the world. And I got to number 2, and all I needed to do was win one game. And if I won that, I would have been world number 1. And I never won it, and that was the closest I ever got, and I was never able to become number 1 in the world. And he says, now that I'm retired, I look back, and I'm just like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I just trust God that, you know, that was what was supposed to happen, and I grew so. He was like, what I learned from that was so much more than if I had gotten that I don't even worry about that now. And that's how I feel. I'm just like,
Praise God.
Maybe I was an all-star. Maybe I continue playing the NBA and have a longer career. I don't go through a traumatic injury and so on and so forth. But what I learned through that, what I got from that, a deeper sense of peace and identity and a deeper understanding of perseverance and just the character that it brought out in me was and is better than if I had been able to be an all-star and gotten the fruits of my labor, per se. So
Amen.
that's not something that eats at me anymore. That's the biggest what if of my career, and I've really surrendered that and I have a lot of peace with
Glad to hear that, man.
So-
Because since you're saying you're able to be like, it's cool. I was thinking, how much more traumatizing would it have been if you had gotten injured coming out like the tunnel and you were like, ooh, this is such a big game. This is, kicking off this next season. And you came out doing the Naruto run and you like busted your ass and like tripped onto the court.
That would be a pretty big what if. I don't know if I'd be saying the same thing if I was out here.
But I'm saying,
No,
you
I'm
went
just
down
kidding.
like a soldier or a warrior, although you were on the Nets, in action, right? You
yeah.
were on the court, and I guess if you look at it like that, even though it might have went up in smoke for that season, it was still on the battlefield, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you were going hard, and yes, the game just kicked off, and it changed the trajectory of your career, but listening to everything you just said, it plays into everything that followed after that. Playing overseas, getting to play with your brother in that capacity, all these different things, right? If you had became an all-star that year, we might not even be friends anymore. Because you'd be like, who? Jin's calling me? Nah, bro. I'm going to all-star this year. But look, we're still here all these years later, and I'm great. I'm not grateful for the injury, but I'm grateful for our friendship, dude.
Yeah,
so.
no, me too, man. And I appreciate
I'll let you pick one of these two. Whichever one you don't pick will be mine. So
Okay.
cool. All right. So this is the educational part of Last But Not Least.
Okay.
Every time when we start to end, I pick 2 words for me and the guests, and we're just gonna continue our conversation, wrap it up. But at some point when you feel appropriate, you enter the word into the dialogue.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go first. Hey, listen, man. It's always great to hang with you. It's always great to get to work with you, collaborate with you, whether it's in China, whether it's in Cali, whether it's here in New York, wherever it may be. And as I get closer to, not get closer to Unk status, I am Unk status already, and so are you. I just want to say, man, life has taught me that people come and go in different seasons of your life, and I'm glad that, we've been able to be in each other's life all these seasons. And yes, that might be fuddy-duddy for me to say, but hey, I'm fuddy-duddy. What can I say?
Awesome. All right. I'll try to follow up on that. Thanks for having me on Last But Not Least.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this new podcast, this new endeavor.
Thanks.
I really enjoyed this space. It's super clean, super nice. You must have dropping the kids off, rushing over, been like a scurry fun, just trying to get everything situated so we could get this recording in. But I appreciate it.
Was scurry
man.
fun.
It was scurry
scurry fun. Yeah. Very casual. I like that. Hey, whatever season you're in, Unk season, father season, husband season, all of it. I'm just happy to see you in good spirits, healthy, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of it. I've been Team Jeremy Lin since as long as I can remember, and I always will be. And excited to see where life continues to lead you and us, man, and this brotherhood.
No, I appreciate it.
Grateful for you.
Likewise, people don't know my I Am Softball walkout song was your song. So.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese. Shout out to everybody tuned in. Life is hard. Make sure you laugh harder. Peace.